Around again. So you're looking bottom right here, and I think the closest ship it resembles currently is the
Oh god.
the
Hello,
Abyss.
boys.
Oh, it's shiny. What's it? It's shiny.
All right, drawing the winner now. No way.
Well, you don't have to wander too far because joining us in the chat is Mr. Chris Law, senior vehicle artist at CIG, who recently gained a promotion because of his work with the Star Lancer Max.
So the only thing I'd like to talk about briefly is just attack, and is it too?
Hello and good evening. Welcome back to the Content Dispatch. We've got loads of other people in chat already. Unfortunately, GFA is he's in traffic, so he will be with us shortly. Touch wood. And yeah, so tonight we're gonna be looking at Fleet Week and some other stuff that's coming, and we might be drawing the lifetime subscription for Game Glass. Who do you reckon's gonna get it, CJ?
Oh, it's gonna be me.
How many auto accounts?
Draw it. All of them. No. I mean, Ruben's the king of giveaways, isn't he? So I would be very surprised if he doesn't win it.
I see Ruben in chat already. I'm here. I'm
Yeah,
ready for it. I am ready for it.
It is waiting.
Oh, he is. Right, question to chat. How many of you managed to get on the Ark Raiders thing recently? Yeah, it ends today. I don't know when today, but it says the 4th. Hopefully it rolls over. But I have been on that non-stop for the last couple of days. We got a nope. Nope.
Nope.
Nope.
Nope. While I wait for those questions to come in as well, I'm going to apologise for the jankiness of my rig. If I'm pixelated hell and I'm dropping around or my mic cuts out, you know, I'm running on a cigarette pack and a potato at the minute. So we will see. Yeah, hopefully it's not atrocious. But
we do a just giving page for you later on to improve your setup when you're on the road.
Yeah. Well, if there's any, I don't know, any rich sheiks around that want to sponsor Paul Lonely caster, then let me know. But yeah. But I mean, that Ark Raiders game. Last time I checked, it's not Star Citizen, so
it's not. It's more like just let's prolong the intro as long as possible. When GFA comes on, we've got to redo like an intro, I guess, so he can put it together for continuity, and we can put a nice video out on YouTube afterwards and be like, "Hey, yeah, I was here for the start. Here's the video evidence." So come on then, Fleet Week chat, fill the chat. Like, what are you looking forward to, and who has seen the little sneak peek on the website? I don't know why.
Yeah, is that the missile rack one?
Is that the what?
The missile rack one. That's sneak
no,
peek,
that's the sneak peek, right? So let's just get it up. So here we are, front page of the website, and you see we're gonna have to flick between it a couple of times. It's there is a ship in the bottom right. This one here. That's I need to make my screen wider. Let's take up some of chat briefly. We'll flick around again. So you're looking bottom right here, and I think the closest ship it resembles currently is the Valkyrie, which obviously, and it's not the Valkyrie. So if people have been speculating, oh, it could be a Valkyrie Mark II. It's not going to be a Valkyrie Mark II. It's going to be the Asgard that has been sort of like leaked, isn't it? Ruben, you're usually like dead on the money with this sort of stuff. What's your prediction, my friend?
Yeah, whatever Ruben says is gospel. But I've not seen it, partly because I've been away. But
and you've also been ill.
Yes, and also been ill. But that's not that's not an excuse for not keeping up with Star Citizen news. I should still be playing, even if I'm on my deathbed. Still be gaming. But no, I mean, the front looks a bit, I don't know if it was too pixelated for me, but it looked a bit hammerheady with the front. But
there is a hammerhead above it. You're looking in the wrong place, maybe.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm currently watching you in probably about 3 frames, 4 frames. So yeah, I'm not. You know what? just for you. I'll get up on the phone. I'll have a look. Legionnaire.
Oh man, the Legion. I mean, there was a couple of like, was it data drops? What they called data mining things, where they're like, oh, okay, there's some like data stuff, and then straight away I'm like, we all saw the Legionnaire in last year's silhouettes. Are we gonna see it?
Yeah.
I sincerely
They've got
hope
to
so.
drop it. They've got to drop it this year, realistically, haven't they?
They
They can't say we drop it this year and then wait like further years to even release it. I know what that ship is.
You know,
I know what that ship is.
is it the Asgard?
No, it's the Perseus.
It's not the
It's got
Perseus.
size 7 cannons. It's got seven cannons on the top. It's got a turret on the top. You can't see the cockpit because it's just slightly behind the camera screen. But it's got the twin size 7s.
Okay.
It's got the big rat-a-tat. Or it's more like a rat-tat. But we'll see. I'm predicting we see fly past.
Okay. A bit similar to
Maybe
the
maybe an external in the hangar. There is an Idris tour, so kind of hoping. Well, that's not actually an Idris tour, was it? It was an Idris experience. So I'm wondering if the Idris is pretty much ready. But obviously, they're not going to release that until Squadron's released, which not long now. We're almost halfway through the year. So it's I reckon that's the Perseus in that image.
So, opening May 15th, we are starting with Greycat and Aegis. Big fan.
Yep.
Where are we going to see that? So, we heard about the Greycat command vehicle, or the command center.
Did we? What? I've missed this.
You must have missed this. So, there is a purported Greycat command center, words to that effect. That will be coming, and Ruben's already put this basically in chat. Is a Greycat vehicle, and but Aegis. Could we see something new from Aegis? Last ship was the Peregrine, if memory serves correctly.
What we're expecting with Aegis?
There's nothing on that we know of, but I would like to know if there's something they're working on in the background.
The key one really is, I mean, obviously Drake, Defense Con. But Anvil having its own day, I think, is
big fan. Looking forward
potentially
to
a dead giveaway. Yeah, that could be expecting something cool.
Anvil capture.
Maybe.
It's what everyone's been asking for, eh?
Yeah,
it's literally written in lore.
Yeah, Crusader and Tumbril match together is very common. I think it's every year. It's always Crusader Tumbril on the same day. Considering A2 or C1, M2, the big Hercules designed to carry the Tonk, so they kind of work hand in hand. Miss Marai and Consolidated Outlands are pretty much, I think, most of the time always by themselves as well. So
Ruben also wants to know why Greycat is a surprise to so many vehicles when we saw the vehicle shape at CitizenCon in the silhouettes.
Well, it's a surprise to me because I've not seen any of the leaks. And
this wasn't leaks. We saw it at CitizenCon. It was one of the
on the silhouettes, but I mean, it's now pretty much confirmed it's got to be a military variant. So otherwise, it won't be up at Invictus. But yeah,
well, this is
interesting.
What we think is going to be this command center.
Yeah, that'd be quite cool. I wonder what gameplay though it would bring.
I have pondered on this. What are we going to see? What is it going to bring to the fight? Because obviously, like you say, it's Invictus. It is a military or military-derived ship. What can it possibly offer?
Well, we know for sure it's going to have a fleet of medbeds because at the minute they're just throwing medbeds in anything they possibly can. So yeah, it'll have like 8 medbeds in it. It'll have an armory where you can duplicate stuff. But I just don't understand what gameplay it could bring, really. Unless it's like, I don't know, like obviously we know like rebro stations and stuff, but it would work something similar like that. But I mean, none of that's in the game.
Well, even then, if
So
you
then,
go take it proper, like IRL military, a command center wouldn't operate as a rebrew. Gives us too much of an RF signature. We're going really in depth here, but
yeah,
that wouldn't be used for that. But could it be used as an endpoint for that sort of stuff? I don't know. I really don't know. And exactly that is why it's so interesting. Because what can it offer? I don't know what it could be. It could essentially be a radar station that is just, I'm going to get through any of this stealth technology. I will get back a ping, and then this is communicated with friendly forces on the ground. That's one thing I guess it could do in game where it adds a benefit.
yeah. But I mean, the game is, I think, too far away for that to become a feature, because they'd need to have like radar works better. But I mean, I would love something like that. One thing I did just think of that I would love to see, which I don't think is coming, but imagine a PDC on a command vehicle. It's not designed to go into combat, but it can defend itself from a strike. So it'll have like a little like size 1 turret like the Spartans do. Like a little like size 1, size 2 laser repeater, wherever it is, but then has like a PDC on the top. A small one for close protection. I think that could be quite cool.
And in turn, I guess that could neutralize any threat from an A1, A2.
Yeah, exactly. And you got to think, in the real world, if we had a HQ element or a command element, it would be under a protective sort of like dome. You wouldn't deploy that anywhere that doesn't have air defense. Yeah, it wouldn't necessarily directly have air defense. You wouldn't deploy a HQ with like a whatever our current system is. And yeah, I think that could be, I mean, a possibility, but then it doesn't really fit Greycat unless it's got a PDC with mining lasers on it.
Well, the thing is, we don't know.
Could be, yeah, well, no. What's the British Navy anti-drone weapon they're releasing? The laser gun, Dragonfire or something like that, isn't it?
Dragon's Breath.
Imagine it's got like a PDC, but it's got a mining laser on it that like goes like a kilometer.
Oh, yeah,
just like beams it down. Would be quite cool.
Or a portable shield generator like you see in Phantom Menace.
Be really cool. Yeah, like a shield emitter. Yeah, that'd be really sweet.
Maybe it's all of these things. What is it going to fit in?
Nothing.
Is the Hopian tank leaking again? I need to put a seal on it. It's like,
oh god.
Hello, boys.
Oh, it's shiny. One sec. It's shiny.
Apologies for the delays in getting onto there. You wouldn't believe me of all the problems that I have run into in the last 10 minutes, but let's not get bogged down with that. I'll tell you off stream. How are we? What have I missed? Are we all excited for the giveaway this evening?
You've missed a lot.
Do we need to redo the intro now that you're here?
No.
I was doing okay, so we've opened the floor to discussion for Fleet Week. We've got about as far as talking about Greycat, Aegis, Origin, RSI, Argo, Consolidated Outland, Misk and Mirai, which then leaves us with May 21st and 22nd, Crusader Industries and Tumbril. What are we expecting to see? And yeah, that's more or less where we are up to.
Nice.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah. I mean, anything you've got, you reckon is coming up, GFA? You can do a quick catch up on the rest of them that we've just gone through.
Well, I guess I have a list of things that I think. Are we talking new ships coming out?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, I do have some opinions. I'm assuming we've already covered. Obviously, the Starlance attack we know. We've seen the video now, and it's been confirmed, which I can't wait for.
I'll skip that one, but yeah.
Well, I did want to talk about the attack, but more about what it's bringing into the game. So we'll maybe swing back to that a bit later, and if it's sort of power creep. Anyway, so have we spoke about the Paladin?
No, we haven't got that far yet.
Okay. Should we go into that now?
Just so you can see for yourself. So this is a lineup. Greycat sharing the floor with Aegis, and then moving on to Origin, RSI, and Argo. before we see Consolidated, Outlands, Misk, and Mariah take the scene by force. Then on to Crusader and Tumbril before we see a solo day from Anvil with that solo showing. And then a second solo showing with Drake Interplanetary, where people are hoping they can see the Ironclad.
Or whatever that stupid looking Y-wing thing is they silhouetted. But
it does look peculiar, but
It does.
Tepid anticipation over that ship.
GFA, have you heard about a Grey Cat platform that's coming? We've already spoke a death about it already, but have you heard
the
about one?
MTC?
Okay, cool. So it is just me that's completely missed it. Fine.
Yeah.
Yeah, command variant apparently.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. Anything in particular you reckon it's bringing?
I don't know. I think it's going to be. Yeah, I don't know. I maybe we could see the first implementation of drones potentially, but I feel like we know that they're not going for new tech this year, so we've got to look at what's already in the game. And I know we've seen the flight cards, and I'm sure we'll get to that a bit later. But if you haven't already spoke about it, but I don't think that's going to be what people think it's going to be, at least in the first iteration. So. Yeah, I don't know. I have no real assumptions at all, to be honest, what it's going to bring. I couldn't tell you what that is going to include. What about yourself? Have you got some inklings?
Well, someone in chat said like a mobile shield emitter for like a reaching shield. So obviously you can protect an area from like an orbital strike. I'm liking the idea of it potentially. I really wanted to have a PDC. No real like.
Well,
offensive capability.
Let's bring it
but
up.
Purely defensive.
So they do look like, is it badgers on top of the CFs?
Yeah, the little dinky ones. But it could have like a little thing that you have to deploy. Like it's not just like automatic; it pops out afterwards.
I think it'd be like big ammo crates, stuff that pops out of the side, and you can like have rearm ammo from it. Like basically a big storage container that's on wheels. But it can deploy ammo, weapons. Maybe it's got a big weapons rack. So it's a command unit where people can rearm, sort of reload. I feel like is what it's going to see. And I've just seen someone mentioning in chat what a lot of people are assuming, and that's that it will have tracks like a tank, like a half track. From the picture, it looks like possibly, but that could quite easily be wheels. I also hope it has tracks. I think it'd be really cool. I'm just thinking of Star Citizen's driving mechanics right now, and whether or not tracks would be something we want in the game. Because I don't know. It just feels a bit. I feel like the way they've designed the terrain in Star Citizen at the moment, until we have like roads and stuff, is for like hover vehicles only. I don't know if you've tried to drive any sort of ground vehicle with wheels across any planet in the game at the moment, or any moon, but it is pretty dire. You're crashing every 2 seconds into rocks. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's hover all the way at the moment. But yeah, what do you think? Do you think there's going to be tracks on that bad boy?
I'm split. I am split. So it does look like, if you look under the left hand, as we're looking at the left hand headlight, that the wheel continues, which makes me think, like I said, wheels. But at the back, I would say this is a heavy mud flap, which I would expect to see on an armored vehicle.
So I've worked on heavy armored vehicles, and that looks more like a I think it's generally called like a Venturi plate. So they're the skirting plates that go on the outside, because it traps the air inside the road wheels. So it looks like it could be set up for tracks, but the rear wheel, the tread for it, just doesn't scream track for me. The spacing with tracks, there's normally a lot of spacing between the treads itself. It might just be the camera angle. And let's face it, it's Star Citizen, so they can make it up. But I don't know. It screams. I think it's going to be wheeled, but the design aesthetic, I think, copies what tracks would be. It'd be cool if it was a half track. It'd be a cool design concept. So that's wheels on the front and track on the rear. which is supposed to be good for maneuverability in certain terrains where normal tracks can't. But yeah, I don't know. I don't think it matters. It's going to have a big PDC on the top of it, and it's just going to pull everything down. So,
I mean, it's a nice looking vehicle, but it's not.
Well, how do you know?
It's not particularly big either. Well, it's a nice silhouette.
Yeah, one you up. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't look big enough to do anything out of this world, if you like.
Yeah. Don't get your
you know what I
expectations
mean?
set too high.
No.
I don't think it's got any internal space.
No.
I think it's going to be cab, and then like just things on the outside.
It could be mobile refueling. It could have a refueling pod on it, and you can land your smaller ships to refuel at it, maybe, like a little fuel vehicle as well. Maybe it's going to be modular, and you can pop the back off, and it can be ammo, fuel. Do you know what I mean? Like maybe it's a modular platform that allows eventually drones and stuff, and you can just drop and switch the back panel, or as I said, back passage, the back panels off, and you can have like fuel, and yeah, as I say, so I think that could be something we're looking at, but yeah, it's one of those ones where we have, for the first time ever, I feel like with a silhouetted ship or a concepted ship, we have like no real idea in any way, shape, or form which way it's leaning. Usually, you can see if a ship has a cargo, it's probably going to be a cargo ship or whatever, or you can see like how a ship's designed and what it's probably going to lean towards if it's a combat ship with certain weapons. But I feel like with this, it's just a complete unknown. It's just a block with potentially tracks or wheels, and that's it. I feel like we have no real idea.
Yeah, because they usually ruin the surprise of it before it comes out anyway. So you can normally kind of work out what ships are what, or vehicles are what. But yeah, I mean, could be pretty cool. I just want to know if it is a command sort of variant ship and what that's going to offer. Because I mean, it's going to be first of its class, really, if it's a command version. But what can it bring? Maybe long range optics. Maybe the Reliant. Is it the Tanner? That's the reporting version. That's supposed to have like the good camera on it.
Oh, I can never remember the name of that ship. Yeah.
Imagine it's going to have like a little telescopic thing that's going to poke out and then have a really good camera on it. And see over berms and stuff like that. That'd be quite cool.
We've got hype in chat. Maybe it's an Orion. He will never let that Orion go. I've never met anyone who wants an Orion as much as this man. But we could recap on CitizenCon and the silhouettes. Compare that to what we were expecting and see if anything marries up.
Yeah.
Let's roll it then. Okay, so
we know what that is.
Yeah, we know about this, but this is the unreleased one, isn't it? So this is the F. It's quick, isn't it?
Yeah, the FM.
That's the one. The
fabrication module.
We spoke about this Grey Cat sound. Obviously, you can tell it's Grey Cat because STV style headlights. Now this one, unless this is a new looking Grey Cat, and this would be more of the size that I would expect to see from something being called the Tactical Command Center.
Yeah, this is is it Scorpion? What are they normally called?
Spartans.
Spartans, that's it. It's a Spartan variant, right? I think that's
what it definitely looks like. That's what I guessed at CitizenCon as well. So
yeah,
I'm hoping it's that
completely different manufacturer, obviously. But this is, I'm saying, this is the size that I would expect.
Yes, yeah, I get that. I think Ruben in chat said this is the Anvil Atlas platform. Obviously, we've heard about the Atlas. What is, sorry, for my ignorance, but what manufacturer is the Spartan?
Anvil.
It's part of the Atlas platform. Yeah. Remember, though, cast your mind back to when the Pioneer was on display. Do you remember you saw the little Atlas platform? You mentioned it.
Yeah, this is 2953 CitizenCon.
Yeah, so I'm thinking of Asgard. I'm thinking of the new Asgard. Sorry, I got my wires crossed.
There is like super deep in the hopium that there's a Atlas platform base builder. I think for me anyway.
I see.
It's the year of base building. If the
It's not.
CSV FM, well, we're not going to get it, no. But there's a lot of base building ships that was announced at CitizenCon. Like the
Yeah.
Pioneer, the Starlancer build was supposed to be released this year. The Atlas Space Builder, the CSV FM. So yeah, that's what my bet is.
Yeah, they've had to obviously just really change up their entire plan, haven't they? I feel like they had all this at CitizenCon, this sort of the pie in the sky of like these are the ships we're going to have, and this is the gameplay, and base buildings come in, and then it came to like January, and they were like, actually, it's actually the year of stable. It's actually the year of stable gameplay. We're not having any new features, and base building's not coming this year for sure. So yeah, I don't know. I think there's a lot of stuff that I think we'll get a lot of stuff in one go. Maybe next year we'll see things like drones and base building come at the same time. But I'm personally not in any way, shape, or form expecting any ships that don't have their full gameplay, or at least most of their gameplay, which is why I think we're seeing things like the Paladin so quickly and the TAC so quickly and the Guardian MX so quickly, other than the fact that, you know, half of those ships are based off of current existing ships and sort of most of the work's done. But the Zeus MR will probably be relatively soon once Bounty Hunting 2.0 sort of made it into the game. All those kind of ships are just combat ships, or at least a vein of that. So there's not any gameplay missing. I think it's the whole reason we haven't got the Legionnaire, because boarding gameplay just isn't ready yet. So don't release a ship, because at the end of the day, if they release ships when their gameplay's in, it just means that more people buy the ships, right? So they always wait for that stuff. I'm sure the MR is literally sitting there ready to go, but why release it now when they can release it with bounty hunting and make it exciting? So I get that we're probably not going to see stuff like the Legionnaire and any of those other types of ships. So anything we see, just expect it to be based around stuff that has its gameplay already, if that makes sense. So like the one that everyone's talking about, which is the Asgard, by the sounds of things, is just going to be like a big vehicle carrier to carry like Spartans and stuff, or tanks like storms, like just basically like a ground vehicle carrier by the looks of things. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are on that.
Well, yeah, I don't know if it's supposed to be like a light transporter. See, we've got the Liberator coming. Well, not coming, but in the pipeline. So I feel like it's got to be a light vehicle carrier, which I mean is kind of a waste, I think, because what you're going to be able to fit on it, 1 or 2 Atlas platforms, maybe 3. The Hercs can carry the same then. They're better defended and stuff like that. I don't know. Yeah, I'm not bothered about the Asgard stuff. I'm not seen enough to be worried about it. To be honest, I'm not that fussed. Don't know about you, Wonder, but
I had heard from speculation that people thought it was like heavy cargo, but from the video it looks like it's more sort of like Constellation sort of size. So we will see when we see. I'm looking forward to Anvil Day.
The time have cometh, boys, for the Game Glass giveaway.
The time have cometh.
So if you go ahead and open up the page, we've had a total of 1,094 entries.
Well, good showing, guys. Well done.
Yeah,
It's very nice.
Spam Drake in chat.
So what will happen now is I will draw the winner on my side, and then One Dark will refresh, and he will then be able to display the winner, and hopefully the person is in chat, whoever they've entered, because obviously you could have entered in a magnitude of ways, much of that being Twitter as well. So the person that wins might not be here today, but hopefully they are, and they should get an email immediately to say that they've won the giveaway. So One Dark, you let me know when you're ready.
I'm ready.
All right, drawing the winner now. No way, I know this person as well. Hang on, I need to click announce, sorry. Here we go. Sorry. There we go.
Liam on F.
Also known as DJL Let me send a screenshot to him and get him in the chat really quickly if he's not here. I know this person, good friend. I've known him for many years, so he'll be absolutely over the moon about this.
Right, whilst we wait for Mr. Liam to pop into chat, should we continue?
Yes, yeah. He'll be here soon.
So let's move on to the next vehicle here. We've seen this. We've got these. The tracker and the other one. Right. Terrapin. Where have we seen this one?
Yep. The Metapin.
Mm-hmm.
The Guardian.
Is this what we could see?
No, I believe that was the Guardian in general. I don't think we had the Guardian by that point.
No, you're right. We hadn't had the Guardian at that point. That came with 4.0, the Guardian.
But we know that this is not the Guardian from the shape. Yeah, the shape is different. The silhouette is different. Like,
I don't know. I've only ever really.
You sure it's not the angle?
Yep.
Yeah, I've only ever really seen the Guardian like in pieces, so I don't really know what they're supposed to.
Oh, actually, no. Look at the gear, landing gear. Is the landing gear on the Guardian like that? I'm pretty sure it's just too long.
Declan, it's not an Orion. I can't wait for this guy to get his Orion.
Yeah. What's next for him then? If he continuously talks about the Orion, what happens when he's got the Orion?
Do you know what? I think he'll be more of a base builder when it comes to it. So I reckon the Pioneer will suit him better. Let's progress from here. So obviously, Guiding Excel. We've seen this. We haven't got this,
Fortune.
but some people have got it.
Yeah.
This I still have little to no idea what it could be. Maybe
I wonder if this is the Asgard.
No. This was the the one we're looking at now? Yeah, this like sort of low one. Wasn't this the Intrepid? Because we hadn't had the Intrepid at this point. Pretty sure that's the Intrepid, no?
No.
I don't believe
Maybe
so.
No.
We definitely didn't have the Intrepid at this point, and everyone said this was the Intrepid at the time.
I have no idea.
I'm pretty sure it is. It's definitely Crusader with the vents at the back and the shape of it. I'm almost certain that was the Intrepid.
Let's do some testing. Find out.
Yeah, not right a second, but you say Intrepid.
No idea what this is.
Some bulky thing.
The Corsair Egg.
Apollo. That's the Apollo.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the triage to be specific.
Tack.
The build. I thought.
Build.
Yeah, because you don't see the turrets on the side. Well, you would see the silhouette, but potentially I don't know. Yeah, because I thought the tack was supposed to be released similarly in time to the the other one.
He's in chat. The winner.
Nice. Congratulations on your win.
Congrats, Liam. Well done. You have. Is it a lifetime or is it an annual, a yearly?
It's lifetime.
Lifetime subscription to Game Glass. What a wonderful prize.
So what will happen from here is we'll obviously let them know that we've done the draw. I think we need an email from you. Anyway, Game Glass, give us the code for us to send. You got it, okay. Sound. So congratulations on the big win.
Yeah, well done, Liam. Congrats. Yeah, I'll send you a code on email. Don't
feel you have to go out and get a tablet unless you don't have one, in which case you need something. You can use your phone. The newer the tablet, the more RAM the tablet has, obviously the better it will perform, but it does perform on some pretty old hardware. It's quite well optimized.
Out watching the F1, it's a valid excuse. It's a valid excuse to not be tuned into the QD.
Oh, is it on? Right, we need to wrap this up. Sorry, I didn't realise it was on.
That's fine. Let's go back.
Yeah, speed up. That's the RSI. Fuck everything in that general direction.
What?
Yeah, that's what it's called. That's what mine's going to be now.
Right? Yeah.
The fuck everything in that general direction.
Yeah, so yeah, I'm with you now. Yeah.
the big size 7 pom-poms, which in that video, Pete, that you were showing at the start,
Yep.
that little turret at the front is what you saw.
You honestly think it was this, do you?
Yes.
Okay.
What, you think this is coming at Invictus?
Well,
I reckon fly past. I don't reckon it's coming, but fly past.
Oh, okay. Yeah, possibly.
That's the base, Ironclad. And then the
Pioneer, right?
Orion.
You're right.
There you
Ironclad,
go.
then Pioneer, right? So, but that was before the whole stability year. I don't think we're seeing the Pioneer. They were obviously pushing for base building this year, so that was why we saw things like the Pioneer like lined up and the BLD. I don't think we'll see either of those variants anytime soon. Probably that this time next year, maybe. A tier 0 of base building would be in on the build up to Squadron's release. So yeah, hopefully they manage to get the stability they're looking for to build on top of. The game feels good at the moment, but it's by no means there, So yeah, hopefully they achieve what they set out to at the beginning of the year, which is a relatively stable and bug-free experience, right? I think that was the goal.
Yeah, and obviously they're still working towards that.
Yep, absolutely.
So fucking they're not there since.
The game's got better since January, 100%. Since 4.0 released.
No, 4.0 still hasn't even been released.
Since 3.9.9 released.
Yeah, there we go. I'll agree to that one.
Yeah. It was... Yeah, because the 4.0 release... We're going to go on a man tangent, actually. I'm not going to bother. It was 3.9 with Pyro. So, there's... Everything else was stripped out of it, right? But, yeah, we haven't got 4.0 yet, everyone. That's the be and end of it. So the only thing I'd like to talk about briefly is just attack. And is it too powerful? Has it got too much going on?
Yes. It's a drop ship with a med bed.
Yeah.
Come on, use your brain.
Drop ship with ground assault, med bed, a fighter, and enough of a cargo grid to put a small vehicle. It's a mini Carrack in many ways, but probably more viable to use in every scenario. I don't know. Did they say, is it 2 size 5s on the side?
Yes. It's 2.
Is it twin size 5 each side?
Yeah.
What's on the Carrack?
Size 4s and size 3s all around, I think.
Size 4s?
I think so. It might not be that big, to be honest.
No, I think you're right. I think it's size 4s.
So one thing that gets me with the TAC is if it has frontal firepower, so if the arcs for the turrets cover the nose of the ship, it's going to be ridiculous. If it doesn't, then I can deal with that. It's a good ship. But yeah,
the side turrets, I don't think they can fire forward. The 2 on the side, I don't think they can fire forward.
As long as they can't, because if they don't, then I think it's going to be a relatively nerfed ship to start with, because you get into any combat and you're just going to lose.
It's going to get nerfed straight away.
Well, yeah.
So will the Paladin.
I think it needs a downgrade on whatever the medbeds are. Like tier 3, it needs to be the worst medbeds.
Are you pairing
radius?
Are you pairing this expectation with the current like T0 state? Because I get where you're coming from. You say it is overpowered now, but it doesn't necessarily mean it will be overpowered in the future.
That is true. But medbeds in the future are going to be relatively not that important. It would be good if that medbed wasn't for regeneration; it was for healing. Then I could fully get on board with that.
Well, that's what it's meant to be, right?
Regeneration kills me. Yeah.
The only medbed that was supposed to have regeneration was the highest tier, which is is it tier 1 or tier 3? I can't remember which way around it is.
1.
So tier 1 is supposed to be the only medbed you can respawn on, right? I believe.
Yeah.
And the other 2 are for regenerating in like different levels of injury, like tier 3 being like your basic injuries, like level 1 injuries or whatever. So I just think that they wanted, when they released the medical Ursa, that was really the downfall of all of it, where it was like, yeah, you could respawn. Even the trailer, they're going to have to backpedal hard on the medical Ursa trailer, if you remember that, where it shows someone respawning constantly over and over again. And then when they go, yeah, that's a tier 3 med bed, so you can't respawn on that in the future. Like that's an instant just like backpedal on that trailer. So, oh man, the whole medical gameplay and respawning gameplay is just a whole. It's a whole mess, man.
Yeah, it's terrible. We need a huge regression,
We-
especially if someone boards your ship, by the way, and catches you and then keeps catching you as you regenerate, because you can't default your spawn elsewhere. There's no like cooldown timer. Like you'll keep popping out of their bed and they'll instantly kill you before you even like unblack screen. So
you say
it's
that,
busted.
but I have currently in the current build of the game managed to survive being shot as I was spawning, but I did lose all my health. But I
gonna say,
managed to
that's really
survive. Yeah,
It's probably a controller player.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I feel like someone at CIG or the team need to like sit down and go through the entire idea behind medical beds, medical gameplay, and then just go, yeah, we need to be really transparent with the players now. Like, even if it's not in the game now, it doesn't have to come in the game now. I get that it's an alpha, we're testing. This is what this means, this is what this means. But, like, they need to be clear to the point now, even if it's in text form, because people are buying ships based on, like, current usability. And then in 6 months' time, when they backpedal on half this stuff because it's ridiculous, i.e. the medical Ursa, they're then going to be like, well, you sold the ship like this. It was in the trailer. So you're either going to have to give the medical Ursa a tier 1 bed, or you're going to have to keep it as a respawnable ship. So there's so many things that I feel like are just like, no one really knows what's going on. I feel like someone needs to sit down, iron it all out, and then just verbally communicate that with us. And then just be like, yeah, that then at least we know, because then people can buy accordingly. It doesn't matter if it's in the game now. People can respawn on the tack as much as they want now. But when it's released properly, that is going to be so powerful as a ship in general. Like the power creep on that's crazy. If that doesn't get nerfed to size 4 twin turrets on the side, I don't know what they're going to do about it. Do you know what I mean? I feel like how is that more powerful than the Carrack? It's crazy. I know the Carrack's not designed to be a gunship, but
well, you don't have to wander too far, because joining us in the chat is Mr. Chris Law, senior vehicle artist at CIG, who recently gained a promotion. So congratulations.
Well, very nice.
To senior because of his work with the Star Lancer Max. So
I mean, look, we love the Star Lancer series. Just the tack feels very powerful right now.
Set a bit louder, please.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold my phone for the rest of it now.
So yes, thank you for your work on the Star Lancer series. Absolutely amazing. It sounds like from chat that Mr. Law is behind MISC, and as Mr. GFA will tell you, it's his favourite manufacturer.
MISC is my absolute favourite manufacturer. Like I'm saying all these things. I'm very excited for the tack. Don't get me wrong. I just hope it's balanced, right? But more than anything, Chris, can we get the Odyssey like today? Today, the Odyssey. I think I would go to prison to get the Odyssey in game right now. You know what I mean? Like I would. I'm just saying, Chris. Do you take bribes? Get the Odyssey in game. Yeah, I mean, I've got a fellow Odyssey lover with Ruben here, and I know he's sitting here chomping at the bit, waiting for some more news around that ship. So, yeah.
I think a few of us are as well.
Yeah, well, CJ, you just want Drake everything.
No. Orion when? Me and Declan. Because when I've got my Orion, I'm gonna use the mining lasers to pop your Odyssey.
You got to find it first.
You know what we'll try.
Yeah, you won't be able to stay anywhere near us because we'll be out in the deep depths of space, full of fuel, and you won't even be able to get close because we can just mine our little fuel back up.
So can I.
Yeah, but look, we don't need to get bogged down with the ins and outs.
Yeah, all right. My Orion, the RSI size 32 torpedo, flying towards your Odyssey.
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm going to dip anyway, because I need to go to bed and watch the F1.
Enjoy.
Yeah, will do, and I will catch you guys later on. Good chat. Good chat, and I'll see you next time.
See you in a bit.
In a bit, bud.
So,
yes, sir.
I do feel like we could do a deep dive on the Star Lancer attack maybe next week.
Yeah.
Once we have all
Yeah, as I said,
the visuals
sorry.
and everything for everyone.
It's a beautiful ship. The
Mm.
TAC is. I've had them. I currently own pledged the TAC and the Paladin. They're both there. I've got both of them pledged, and I'm very excited for both of them. The TAC's one that I saw immediately, and I was very much hoping for like the ground attack on the side turrets, as I think we spoke about before. Misk in general, as we've already covered, is like my favorite manufacturer, and the Star Lance has been one of my favorite ships. Yeah, I'm very excited we could definitely do a deep dive in the TAC, especially as soon as 4.1.1 comes out. We should have it in our hangar because we've got it pledged. So we should be able to have a proper walk around of it. That paint looks absolutely incredible. Yeah, I cannot wait for the ship. I have to be honest, my fear is not changing that it's going to be too powerful for the game right now. But I saw a lot of people saying, does this make things like the Constellation obsolete or the Carrack obsolete or the Corsair obsolete? And I don't think it does. They all do things a lot more or a lot different. There's a lot more to them. For example, I wouldn't say the Star Lance attack is a good soloing ship. I feel like you need to have your gunners and your crew, whereas a Constellation's a very good soloing ship. The Carrack, it does everything, but on a much bigger scale. Also has tool benches and it's modular, and it has a bigger cargo hold, and it's got a bigger hangar for bigger ships and stuff. So there's a lot more that it does. The Corsair has a much higher damage output, again, for a solo player. The only ship that I feel like is getting left in the dust with things like the TAC coming in is the Redeemer. The Redeemer truly is getting left so far in the dirt, and I feel so bad for it because I love that ship. But at this point, why would anyone own a Redeemer over a TAC or a Paladin? There's just no reason, really. And that's sad because it's such a cool ship. But yes, we should do a deep dive in the TAC. It's very nice.
I would like. I am with Hyped Evo in chat with it being all on one side. So you can see that they've kind of gone for the AC 130-esque look, probably because they've seen me whinging about it online. And I've had Dan say, hey, Star Lance attack, it could be everything you want. It's not, though. And reason why is I did want everything on one side, on, say, like the left-hand side. So you don't... Balancing is then not so much of an issue. You can put everything you want, essentially, onto that one side. Because you're going to need a suite of escorts with you that are going to support you. If you have no missiles on it and it is purely like a gunship, everything on one side. But I want to see light munitions, sort of like medium munitions, and then heavy. And I mean, by heavy, I mean a Nova Tonk cannon sticking out the side of it with loads of splash damage, so that essentially this would be the ship that can hold the ground at, or will be the first assault vehicle on scene at, say, Jumptown. But because it only fires to the left and, say, like the top turret can swing around 360, whatever, you then are required to have that suite of fighter escort to ensure that you're not meeting any air-to-air threats. And that's just one ship that is missing that sort of scope.
Totally agree. I think when we saw the initial concept pictures of the TAC, that's what we all assumed we were getting. Like, I think at CitizenCon, when it was announced, we were like, oh my God, it's a ground assault. It's basically an AC-130. Even with the dual-side turrets, that aside, forget for just one moment on all of one side kind of deal, because I'm just talking about what we saw. But just from what we saw, I just thought it was going to have some big, like, as you say, like Nova cannons on the side that were sort of designed for ground attack, because in the air, useless, right? If you've got a Nova cannon, there's a ship attacking you from 900 meters or a kilometer away, you're not really going to have a chance of hitting it in space because it's going to travel so slowly. So I thought it was going to be like a ground assault vehicle with two actual cannons on the side firing down at the ground while the troops are landing. Then you've got the turret at the top, the missiles on the back for support, and the pilot weapons to take out ships in the sky. I was on the same page as you. I thought that's what we were getting, and that's what I agree I would have preferred or would have liked to see, because it would have been something different and new to the game. But yeah, I having everything on one side would have been really interesting for stability. And I see what you mean, having like light arms, medium arms. That would have been cool. Yeah, I can see that. I just Yeah, but maybe opportunity missed in many ways in regards to the weaponry and the usage of it. Because again, when the Paladin comes out, it, other than the fact that it's a dropship, it's another thing that's like it's sort of outshined a little bit by the Paladin, which we might be getting at Invictus as well, as far as speculation goes. Because the firepower on that thing's going to be far superior. So it's a tricky one. I love it in every way, but I just don't know where it fits at the moment. And I do wish it was a ground assault. It seems to be much more air assault.
I think an M2A would fill the slot of an AC-130 quite nicely. It's the right sort of size.
M2A. Yeah.
Yeah, you can accommodate that sort of weaponry on that sort of frame. You would expect that.
Does it fit? Does it fit with Crusader though? I feel like if there was going to be a manufacturer that made something like the AC-130, it'd be something like Drake, like really rickety, like literally a Nova cannon attached to it. Do you know what I mean? Like really rickety, really rough. Like imagine like a Corsair platform, but all the weapons are on one side, and they get rid of the cargo bay, and it's like a weapon. It's just all the turrets are facing on one side. Or that kind, or even a Herald. Imagine a Herald with AC-130 weaponry sticking out the side of it, man. I'd be so there for that. I feel like Drake would be the ship for it.
Genesis Starliner. That would also be a good fit. So there you go, which is made by Crusader M2A. It's coming. It's coming, people. I guarantee it's going to be called M2A.
I don't think it fits.
If it doesn't have a mural of me inside it.
Yeah.
On the side, the One Dark Special.
Yeah.
As death is raining, only on the left side. So it's like you're getting murdered. Looking at that, oh my god.
It's just your face plastered across the ship.
Yeah.
So like I say, like light munitions, given the mobility, maybe slave the side turrets if they're not in use to the pilots. They're forward facing only. But everything else is like medium and heavy is only in one direction. Give it next to no sort of countermeasures. Or in fact, no, give it loads because AC-130 has loads. Also,
can I tell you the only problem with that?
What?
It becomes a ship that can only be used by a group. Even if you have AI blades and AI gunners, they're not going to know where to target to shoot on the ground. Really, it's too much to expect them to know. I think with an AI crew.
Well, this is the thing. So you need crew on the ship. There should be like a co-pilot or a weapons commander that says, right, this is the target, shoot. So it can be as crewed as much or as little as you want, but there has to be that minimum crew. Same as a Polaris, man. I just can't be bothered to play anymore. When I see a Polaris, I'm like, okay, I'll go Tath, or oh great, there's a Polaris. And how many people when you scan it? Oh, it's 1 or 2. So this sucks because they can just hover over the hull and you now have a massive job on your hands to take out the Polaris. Whereas if you had a weapons commander, he's got to sit in that seat at least for the PDCs to be active. And they require pips, like a certain amount of pips. It might be that you need the full amount of pips to activate your PDCs, or you have a sub-level, so say you've dedicated 4 pips to your PDCs, to your weapon systems. The weapons officer then has to deduce where those pips are then placed on the ship. You might need 2 or 3 just for the PDCs, in which means even if you have everyone crewed, then not everyone can use cannons. Or the recharge rate would be so slow. The fire rate would be slow. For that extra balance.
I like what you're saying. I really like what you're saying, and I agree with it. From the standpoint of like what I would also like to see in the game. But you've got to remember that with the AI blades and AI crew, like every ship kind of has to have the ability to be used by smaller groups of players, if not one player, not fully, like it says minimum crew when you buy the ship for a reason. So it's CIG and Star Citizen has every right to turn around and say it was sold. It said minimum crew 4. That's what you've got to crew it with. Tough luck, get over it, kind of thing. But when AI blades is a thing, and it's going to be coming to the game where we have AI gunners and stuff, and being able to hire AI crew to shoot for us. Imagine if you had like a fully AI crew Polaris and you have a solo player and you just have every weapon gunned and manned. It's going to be brutal. And I think when we see the flight blades come in, we're going to see a complete change in the entire hierarchy and play style of the game. Where you see now arrows, hornets, sabers, I think you're going to see those kind of ships slowly dwindle in numbers, especially for PvP players, because the second they can have a fully AI crewed ship with all the turrets shooting, there'll be things like paladins, Star Lance attacks, things that are like proper gunboats. Because the main reason a lot of people don't do that is because you need loads of other players to be there with you. So if you have like four solo players with fully AI crew and they're all in gunships, that's infinitely more powerful than 4 Hornets, for example, because the amount of damage they can output and sustain is going to be crazy. The only way they can balance that is with like the pip system. If it's an AI blade, maybe you have to have like a lot of your power systems and your pips. Like you have to have an overhead so you can put them into each AI blade and such. Obviously, we don't know how it's all going to work, speculation, but yeah, I think you'll see a huge shift in like what kind of ships people are flying for combat, because why take a Hornet at that point? You'll just get bodied by 4 Star Lance attacks fully crewed by AI, because they're going to... I mean, I was fighting... in my latest video, I was fighting a MSR in a Saber, and I struggled with an MSR because I had a gunner. They had maybe 2 gunners, and they rinsed my shields. They rinsed me, because that gunner can see all the way around. And it's difficult. And that's how it should be. That is, by the way, that's exactly how it should be. I should not be able to take out an MSR solo if they've got turret gunners. That is absolutely how it should be. But that's going to be all the time if you have AI gunners. So I'm interested to see how it goes. And it goes back to your Polaris comment. It's going to be an interesting one. I don't know if it's going to be good or bad. I hope the Perseus kind of bodies the Polaris, to be honest, because I'm sick of everywhere I go. As you say, you see a Polaris popping, you're like, well, I'm going to a different location now because there's literally no point of being around here. Unless you can board it and self-destruct, which is
they're at every
difficult.
Location. That's the issue.
It's because there's no real detriment to having them out at the moment. Like, there's no fee. Do you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing stopping players just spawning them in. Realistically, it's the insurance system, right? Like, you can just claim it back for free, even if you have to wait an hour. Expedite it if you have the money. You can have another friend with one, and you're never without. The claiming back of a Polaris should be days, really. But the problem is, the game's too buggy right now. You can't do that.
It probably will be down the line.
Oh yeah, 100% it will be. But right now, it doesn't really help us because it's everywhere we go and we can't stop it. But it needs to be like days reclaim time for a ship like that, definitely.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of harks back to one of the first things I brought up with the QT is we require the low economy jobs. So if you take people's ships away from them for a prolonged period of time, then they are forced, if they have no ship to get around or they haven't got anything they want to do, then they're going to stay local. They're going to do more contested zone stuff. They're going to do the stuff that truly props the game up and makes the economy function. Yeah. Talking of going back in time, Kieran Dark says, I'd like to see more modularity in game, like the ability to order a Taurus from Origin or Drake, so you get your favourite aesthetic in or on your favourite vessel. I get what he means, it doesn't mean modularity, but we did cover this long before you joined us, in fact. Whilst we were, I think it might have been the first ever episode when we were in our pyjamas, and which I think is online. I have to go back and check. And we were bringing up the whole state of like, well, what if one of the manufacturers lines up with in real life sales? So I likened it to Sea of Thieves, where they're like, there's an island here, you can either attack it or you can take supplies to it or defend it and help build it. And then it either becomes a location in game or it just becomes a desolate island and nothing happens there. So we're saying, well, look at the real life sales of ships, and this, the manufacturer that is doing the worst then comes into like financial issues. They need to make some adjustments and changes. So say, for instance, not that it would ever happen, but like RSI was struggling financially and they decide to sell off the rights for, say, like the Aurora, and then Aegis pick up the tab and say, okay, we'll buy the Aurora off you to keep you in business or whatever. They then get to manufacture the Aegis Aurora. So you're selling essentially the same ship to people twice with a slight different aesthetic to it. Obviously, we're still in alpha. No point doing this just yet. But for longevity of the game, it would be an interesting circumstance if that were to happen. So I get what you're saying. That wouldn't obviously happen because the Taurus, that IP is owned by a company. For another company to do their own version, it's got to be either a completely different ship that services the same function, which fully support, because why wouldn't you? I mean, look, we've just seen it recently with the Vulture and the Fortuna. Slightly different, but essentially servicing the same sort of area, small and salvage. But so you've got kind of that level of it. But if you want to create your own version that's based upon that one that looks and feels and everything, then there's going to be IP conflict. So they would need to buy the rights. How they buy the rights? You don't see like Ford selling the Focus rights to like Land Rover, do you?
No, it's a bit difficult to draw a comparison in real life because a lot of companies are owned by one company that has a monopoly. Like I think BMW own like Mini and a couple of other brands, and that's why you have there'll be a certain vehicle that's released of a certain shape, of a certain chassis, and then you'll see the exact same car with minor changes, like the wing mirrors are different colors or something, from 3 different brands, and it's because one brand owns all of those brands. There's a lot of monopoly. So it's a bit different in real life, but in the game of the manufacturers, I think I kind of like that a manufacturer is a manufacturer. Like I want to look at a ship and go, that's a Misk, that's a Crusader, that's an Aegis. I kind of like the fact that they've done that and they've stuck with that, and it's kind of always been the vision of the game to have like manufacturers stay in their own lane in regards to their style. And I get what you're saying. It would be really cool if like Origin made a luxury Corsair or something. I do get why it would be interesting. I think it kind of detracts from the overall art direction of the game in many ways, and that's why I don't think they would do that. But I do like the idea, and maybe we will, like in 5-10 years time, when the game is finally out and like in version 1.5 or something, or 2.0 maybe at that stage, and we've got a stable product. Maybe they'll start to be a bit more open to like newer ideas to keep things fresh and to have players have like new updates. You see it a lot with games. They get to a certain age and they want to rejuvenate the player base, and maybe they'll have some new things come in that maybe doesn't quite fit with what they would do right now. So it's happened before, like games like PlanetSide and stuff. So yeah, I like the fact that it doesn't happen right now, but maybe down the line. I like manufacturers being manufacturers.
There's so many areas that they could explore with this sort of area, which makes no sense. I know what I mean. There's so many areas they can explore with this concept. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Would be kind of
I think that is all my topics done.
Yeah.
Have you got anything else you'd like to talk about this evening?
No, so obviously we've still got a bit of time before it starts, but we just wanted to cover sort of like what we were seeing sort of ahead of schedule. So obviously I think we've got another ISC before, or an SEL, one of the two, before Fleet Week goes live. Be interesting to see what comes out of that. And yeah, we can do a deep dive on the Starlance attack. We'll get all the metrics up and compare it properly to other ships and the like.
I think that'd be good.
Actually,
I think that'd be really good.
Chris, while you're still here, one thing I would like to see is retrofitting done in game. So instead of there being, for instance, you've got like the cut Rambler, you've got the cut base and the cut Scout. You get a cut base and you take it to a retrofitter in a specific area after you've fulfilled a set of requirements, perhaps, and you can get the cutter configured so that it can like generate drugs. But you require ingredients for those drugs. And once you have them, you fly into deep space somewhere and you start the process, and that pings up like a local mission. There is a drugs lab in this area. Try and find it. So especially when you've got like deep space scanning, on like the Carrack and whatnot, that you can go ahead and find them. But yeah, Cousin Crows should be able to do it, perhaps, but like this means I'll say drug dealing. So you go to Pyro and you have to find the specific person that can can service your vehicle in that way, and they just completely re-kit the back of it. It also gives you the purpose to go in game and buy the same ship multiple times if it's modular, and you can add, say, for instance, the drugs lab in the back of it, or you can just rotate it around as you visit different vendors. Yes, exactly. That's exactly what I had in my head. It's the Winnebago, essentially.
Yeah, I like the idea of the game where you have like illicit gameplay loops like that, like where we can outfit our Drake Corsair to have a meth lab in the back, and then we can fly out to the binnies or whatever it's called, out in the dark depths of a cave in Daymar and just cook, like just cook some whatever the slam, and then just go and sell it. I love the idea of being able to build like a manufacturing plant. Yeah, I think that'd be class. Especially with like base building. Imagine like being like, oh yeah, that don't go to that guy's base over there. He's got the biggest slam lab in all of Stanton. Like just knowing someone is just the guy. It would be really funny. I hope they do it. I don't know if that. Do we know what age rating certificate Star Citizen's going to have? Because I think right now it's because it's not released. It doesn't have a certificate.
No.
But I could be wrong. I wonder what it's going to be, because for stuff like that, I think it would have to be an 18.
It's at least
if you're going to have any. Yeah, I mean, I think it'll be an 18, I imagine, when it comes out. But I don't know, because I think, there's drugs in the game and all sorts, so I imagine there will be.
I'm just thinking about some of the language used by the NPCs.
Yeah.
Specifically about killing, kill you, then kill your mum, then kill your dog. What?
Yeah.
It'll hurt you so long, you think it's a career. But yeah, some of the language can be quite fruity. So
yeah, exactly. I think that's kind of what I'm getting at. Like, I think it will be probably on the upper side of the age ratings, is my guess. But yeah, if we do go for if it's like an 18 game or an R rated, if you're in the States, let us go cook some slam in Daymar, in the deserts of Daymar.
Or what if you launch into the game and it's a 12, whatever, because you're going to need to be at least 12 to essentially know how to play this game, right? But then certain systems, please verify your age.
Yeah.
Go to Pyro? No, you'd be 18 for it, mate. Sorry.
You have to upload a picture of your driver's license to get into Pyro.
But face scan ID, isn't it? Where it just literally looks at you, yeah, you look old, in you go.
Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah. I don't know. I think what I love about Star Citizen is the project is still such an unknown. I guess that's a weird thing to say because we want the game to just be outright and finished. But I like having these conversations where we don't know yet. There's so much to still, peel away. I just can't believe we're halfway through 2025 already. Or almost halfway through this year already. I just feel like the years are just wasting away. So yeah, I hope we get Squadron next year. I mean, GTA 6 has just been delayed again. I genuinely think we actually might get Squadron 42 before GTA 6. I never thought I'd say it, but it's sounding like it could happen. Yeah, I hope we get some real progress next year. I think this year is a bit of a write-off year, isn't it? Really, I think it's more to just stabilize the game and work through some of the shit backlog, which I'm not complaining about. I think it's a good thing. I'd rather have a stable product than. And I think the content team have been doing a fantastic job. The content that's been coming to the game and actually having stuff to do has been so refreshing. It's made me want to go back and play, which is a good thing. Because I was getting to the point where I was like, I'm going to take a break for a little while and play some other games for a few months because I just don't know what I'm doing anymore. But yeah, I'm glad to say that the content team has completely rejuvenated my enjoyment of like what I want to play the game for. Just keeping fresh missions and things to aim to achieve. So that's really good. More of that hopefully as time goes on. But we do need to see some of these other systems get put into the game. It's a bit of a catch-22, but we need some more. We need some more meat on the bone. We need Terra and what's the other system coming out?
Castra.
Nix and the other one. Actually, yeah, Castra. Castra's going to be my system. I want to live there. It looks incredible.
Well, I always thought I'd be a Stanton boy, and Pyro came out, and I tried it and was like, I've been back to Stanton 3 times since Pyro came
Have you
out.
not? You haven't done much of the Wicklow stuff, have you?
I have. I've been to Wicklow's once, never with like. I think I've got like 10 Caronite, and that's it. I visited the hole twice, and I came. One of the 3 trips was I came back to pick up some easily accessible vehicle components that are required for a loadout.
That's really funny to me because I haven't been back to Pyro since 4.1 came out. I haven't stepped foot in Pyro.
Who's gonna stomp them rats if you're in Pyro?
Well, there's rats to be stomped in Pyro too, my man. The PvP at the Hathor holes has been wild. Yeah, honestly, we've been having some crazy fights. I've had more fights at that Hathor location in Stanton than I have in Pyro so far. Around the exact hangars, it's been crazy. But I am thinking about scooching back over to do some exec hangars, and I want to pull up some more PYAM ships really badly. I want to get like an F set. I want to get the F8. So there's definitely more to be done over the Pyro. But I've just been enjoying the Wicklow ones. I want to get the Wicklow armor. I've been really trying to get the Wicklow armor. It's hard work. It's hard work as like a semi-solo player. I play usually with a handful of people. It's not easy. It takes ages. And you mine one hole and you get enough for you don't even get enough for one item from one hole. It's crazy, man. It's long.
Fair. The amount of times I've been to them holes and they've not worked, or we've done the mission, got to a point, it's like, nah, you're not primed. It's like, what?
Yeah, they're bugged. They're really bugged at the moment. They have been sort of fixed recently, I feel like. It's been a bit more stable. But
yeah, it's been a bit soul destroying when you've gone through all that work and effort and it's like still not worked.
Yeah, happens a lot.
But hey, yeah.
But maybe not. I haven't played for a few weeks, so maybe not so much anymore.
We'll get back on it soon enough, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all for now, and then we can jump onto this deep dive Starlance attack next week. Something to look forward to.
Very much so, especially if 1.1 goes live.
Yes, very much looking forward to the attack.
We can actually get in the ship and walk around and never go. Take it for a spin.
Nice. So, anything from chat before we shoot? Always do it like a phone call, like I'm expecting some. Yeah, I've got a question for you.
It'd be a good time to, let's save the upcoming giveaways on the channel. Let's we'll announce those when the time is right.
The time is nigh, is what you get.
Time is nigh. Yeah. When the time is right, we shall announce some more giveaways coming.
Chris, if you're still here, let me know what you want. What is the one thing that you like? Oh, I wish the game did this.
Odyssey.
Yes, absolutely. Down for that.
Oh, yeah, that'd be really good.
We did that with the Polaris when it came out. We did CIG crew, and we were like, yeah, let's go do a mission. They were just like, there's a fault here, there's a fault there. There's a mesh error here. You fall through the ship if you do it, so don't go there. And I'm like, oh, and then the whole bottom half of the ship like disappeared. They're like, yeah, and scurried away and made sure that everything was done. But it was a lot of fun. Good. There's still stuff wrong with the Polaris every time I'm like, has it been fixed yet? No, it hasn't. Like, there's a decal in the bridge that is like mirrored, so it's completely backwards. ISR. Okay, so just the Odyssey and the Kraken. Yeah, that's basically my wish list as well. I'm looking forward to the Paladin though. That sort of open cockpit, the ability to see your pals. That's going to be incredible.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. Okay, cool. Right, that's it from us tonight at the Quantum Dispatch, and look forward to us being back on time next week for 8 p.m. UTC. No, it's not UTC anymore. It's BST, isn't it? British Summertime.
Yes.
When I was a kid, it was like 8 p.m. tonight. But now, obviously, we're part of this global culture. We've got people in here from America, for instance, and they need to know what the time zone is. So when they go into Google, it's like, what is BST now? What is UTC now? Because, I mean, even in the military, we use Zulu, local, alpha, like, ridiculous. Ridiculous. So, yeah, Orion soon to come. No, not yet.
It will be 7 p.m. UTC because that's 8 p.m. our time.
Okay. Yeah,
7 p.m. UTC.
BST 1 hour ahead. Cool. And the gang. It was studio made this for just a second. Just to disable. And I'm fixed. And I'm done. I'm ready. He has no idea what I'm talking about.
No, why was I hearing that twice? I was really confused.
Okay, maybe your PC is jibbing out.
Well, my PC's being so weird, dude. I had such a night of it before I got home from being out and I was like, I need to get online. Everything was going wrong. PC's being strange. I don't know what's going on. I've got so much to sort out after the stream.
Okay. Right, we'll end that there. And yeah, we'll see you guys 8 p.m. BST here next week to discuss Starlance Attack and anything else that might come out between now and then. So we will see you there.
Absolutely. If it's in the game, it'll be in our hands. And if it's in our hands, we'll be walking around it. The time is nigh to click the 30k button, Pete. Peace out.